bondage, from the bondage of Egypt, your people have come. Every step of the way you were faithful. You opened the sea, so we walked on right up. It was your hand, it was your hand. I will live before the Lord, for you alone bring strength into our journey. Oh, I will dance and magnify your name, for you are worthy of our praise. You are worthy of our praise. From the death and destruction, the blood covered us. The blood of the Lamb that was over. You showed us your power, you showed us your might. Now the promised land is in our sight. I will dance before the Lord, for you alone bring strength into our journey. Oh, I will dance and magnify your name, for you are worthy of our praise. Yes, he is worthy of our praise. In the desert we wandered for 40 long years. With manna and whey you sustained us. In the pillar of cloud by day, fire by night, you provide, oh, you provide. I will dance for the Lord, you alone bring strength into our journey. Oh, I will dance and magnify your name, for you are worthy of our praise. I will dance for the Lord, for you alone bring strength into our journey. Oh, I will dance and magnify your name, for you are worthy of our praise. You are worthy of our praise.
Well, I lead the worship at the main tent, which is a lot of fun, and we do a lot of laughing and a lot of crazy things, as well as coming and bringing our hearts before God and worshipping Him. And of course this year our theme is the life of Moses, and who'd have ever thought that someone who is a historical man in history could actually be brought so much alive to what we've been hearing here over the weekend. It's just been amazing, and the teaching has been great, and we've learned so much from God's Word. And I think people are going to leave here after this weekend feeling like they see a little bit of Moses in ourselves, because he was just an ordinary man who saw his own flaws and thought, oh, how could God use me? And I think a lot of us are going to walk away and say, well, if he did that for Moses, then God can probably do that with me, which is just great. I think the highlights for me, I just went around the flowers with my family, and when I walked in and saw the snake, I thought it was one of those draft excluders that you put across the bottom in the winter by your door. And as I got nearer, I realised that it was, of course, the snake that Moses took his staff and God told him to throw it on the floor. He threw it on the floor and it became a snake. And that's what that was depicting. And it was fantastic details of the flowers in, you know, all these little flowers making a snake. And I thought we'd just heard a sermon about that in the main tent, talking about what staff are we holding on to. Because of course Moses was a shepherd for those 40 years and that was his life. He knew that staff was, he didn't want to let it go, but God said let it go. And I thought, what a picture, you know, of what God will do when we take what's in our hands and say, okay, Lord, it's yours. And I don't think I'll ever forget that, actually. It's very powerful.
Moses, the son of Hebrew slaves, was no ordinary child. His parents hid him from Pharaoh for 3 months, and then they put him in a basket and placed it afloat among the reeds at the edge of the Nile. Pharaoh's daughter found the baby and raised him as her son. Moses was angered by the hard labor enforced on the Hebrew slaves. One day when he was 40 years old, he saw an Egyptian beating one of his fellow Hebrews. He killed the Egyptian and buried his body in the sand. Pharaoh ordered the arrest and execution of Moses, who fled into the desert. "40 years later, whilst Moses was tending sheep in the desert, God called Moses from within a burning bush. God asked Moses to lead his people out of Egypt into freedom. When God appeared to Moses in the burning bush, it was to commission him as his ambassador before Pharaoh. At first, Moses was reluctant and full of excuses, but he soon realized that with God on his side, he could not fail. Moses finally obeyed God and obtained the release of his people. Pharaoh allowed them to go, but only after the Egyptians had suffered the 10 plagues sent by God. After their escape from Egypt, God guided Moses and his people through the desert with a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. When the people of Israel reached the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army in pursuit, Exodus chapter 14 verse 13 says, Moses told the people, "Don't be afraid, just stand where you are and watch the Lord rescue you." After the people of Israel had crossed the Red Sea and the Egyptian army was swept away, Moses and the Israelites sang a song of praise to the Lord. God provides for the spiritual and physical needs of his people. He sent manna and quail to feed the people of Israel and told Moses to strike the rock with his staff to provide water. When Moses came down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments, his face glowed from being in the presence of God, so he covered his face with a veil. In 2 Corinthians chapter 3, Paul tells us, "We Christians have no veil over our faces. We can be mirrors that brightly reflect the glory of the Lord. And as the Spirit of the Lord works within us, we become more and more like him. Moses died at the age of 120 years after having been shown by God the promised land that God had covenanted to his people. Finally, the people of God entered the promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey.
I would recommend anybody to come, as I say, Christian or non-Christian, because it's absolutely beautiful.